Yesterday, the men's and women's all-around national champions were crowned. Today, it's the event finals with 4 titles at stake for the women and 6 for the men. Bella Caroli's latest pixie sensation, 14-year-old Kim Zumeskal, won the all-around title yesterday and will try to add to her medal collection today. For the men, John Roethlisberger captured the all-around crown.
Brandi Johnson came to Denver to defend her national gymnastics title. Kim Zumeskal came to take it away. With near-perfect performances, Zumeskal proved that a new generation of gymnasts is ready to step forward. Now, American gymnastics has a 14-year-old champion. Her triumph marked the past champion's descent. Brandi Johnson enters today's event finals, searching for a new determination. Minnesota's John Roethlisberger. First rotation now in the women's division as we move over to the vault. And a homecoming, a Denver native gets it underway. Sandy Woolsey, 5th in the all-around. And Christy, this is one of her strongest areas.
Sandy will be performing a layout full for her first vault. The start value for this vault is 10 points, so it's possible to receive a perfect score on this vault. That was a strong vault, but she made some mistakes. Her legs were a little bit bent in the flight, and she had a small hop on the landing, so she won't be receiving a perfect 10.
In the individual event finals, Sandy Woolsey, like the rest of the competitors, will have 2 vaults, and they'll average those 2 scores.
Here's her round off and a back handspring onto the horse, big push, layout full off. Now that vault requires a great deal of precision and consistency, and those are trademarks of Sandy Woolsey.
At 17, Sandy's one of the oldest in the finals. We asked her if it's tough to stay competitive that long.
Well, I think a lot of it is when they get older, women mature. And I think that has a lot to do with it. And also their views over it. If it's negative when you're little, you can still handle it, but it affects you and you can destroy yourself as you grow older. I think a lot of it, I think, is attitude. How you view gymnastics. If you think of it, how hard it is, as you go on, it just gets harder and harder, and then the more you don't want to do it, and then you're like, forget it, this isn't worth it.
It is truly amazing. At 17, she's a veteran. On the men's side, she'd be one of the youngest competitors.
She'd just be starting out, Joel.
Man, Sandy Woolsey with a 9.725 on that first vault.
All right, for Sandy's second vault, she performed a tuck to the heart with a full twist. That also is valued at 10 points. She did a good job, nice and clean. A hop on the landing, that'll cost her.
And it looks like there was some pain on that landing as well for Sandy Woolsey, almost like she strained her back a little bit.
For Sandy's first vault, she performed a round-off entry, backwards entry onto the horse. This is a forward entry, nice push, nice clean form in the air, and 2/10 deduction on the landing for the hop.
And the average on those 2 vaults at 9.675 for Sandy Woolsey. As we head back to the men's division, the second rotation, and it's Patrick
To increase the score.
Amy Shear's first vault was 9.712 as she prepares for her second vault under the protege from Bella Caroli's gym.
Oh, and Amy performed a handspring front somersault for her vault. Many gymnasts would have sat that vault down. She landed a little short on rotation, but she saved it. She took a big step back.
Amy, like so many others, has left her hometown to move down to Houston to be in that gym with Bella Caroli. She's a native of Cincinnati.
Amy under-rotates the vault, actually, and she almost has to sit down, but she takes a big step back and saves the landing.
Amy is only 15 years old. Her second vault, a 9.562. The average, 9.637. We'll be right back to continue with the U.S. Gymnastics Championships, the event finals. When we come back, Brandi Johnson is on the vault. And returns this afternoon, hoping to regain the form that made her the all-around champ last year. It was 1989. The U.S. gymnastics world revolved around Florida native Brandi Johnson. After returning from the 1988 Summer Olympics as the United States' top all-around finisher, she swept through a score of national and international competitions, displaying the determination and drive of a true champion. Brandi collected the all-around title at the American Cup, as well as sweeping 5 gold medals at the International Tour of Champions in Cottbus, East Germany. Add those accomplishments to all-around victories at the USA versus USSR Challenge and last year's U.S. Championships. She entered last year's Worlds as America's brightest hope and came home with a silver medal in the vault. But that was a year ago. Brandi has battled back through a series of injuries, finishing a disappointing 22nd in March's American Cup competition. And many have questioned if she's lost her drive.
My goal at first when I started gymnastics was to compete in the '88 Olympics, which I did. I made that goal. And the year after, I was on such a high, I didn't know what to expect, and I just kept competing. And I set my goals for that year, and I've just been taking it a year at a time right now.
This year, Brandi has been taking up subjects other than gymnastics. She has enjoyed life in the spotlight and led her name to some commercial endorsements.
I can keep up with the big guys, too.
Not bad. Think you can teach me one of those flips? Milk. It does a body good.
As the trophy collection illustrates, she has been outstanding. But outside interest, including spending time with her boyfriend and enjoying the Florida sun, have contributed to her dropping out of the spotlight. She is no longer the only gymnast to watch at these championships. She faltered in the all-around optionals and failed to defend her title, finishing a disappointing third.
As long as you're having fun in what you're doing and you want to continue to compete, it doesn't matter if you're number 1 or number 4, as long as you're doing the best that you can do. And that gives you a challenge, even if you are number 4, that you want to be number 1 again.
As recent history illustrates, success in American gymnastics is short-lived and aimed at youth. Both all-around national champions prior to Brandi are no longer involved in the sport. Christy Phillips went through a growth spurt and was unable to adjust to her new body. 1988 Olympic balance beam bronze medalist Phoebe Mills decided to retire at 16 to resume what she labeled a normal teenage life.
When I was training with Phoebe and Christy, I never knew how much pressure was put on them until, I got in their spot. And there is a lot of pressure.
The correlations between Phillips and Johnson's body types are evident. But Coach Kevin Brown feels that if handled correctly, Brandi's changes could work to her benefit in the future.
There's a stage that they go through. It might be a 6-month period of time. You have to work with them through this growth spurt, let them know that you're concerned about it, and just work with them on a daily basis. So it has to be more of a positive, upbeat type thing and not a nagging, negative thing that it's something that every female has to go through, and you need to know how to deal with it as a coach.
2 years doesn't sound like a long time, but for a gymnast, it can be an eternity.
My future goal is to stay until 92 and be on the 92 team. But as I said, right now, I'm just taking it 1 year at a time.
So Brandi Johnson failed to defend her all-around title yesterday, trying to pick up individual championships today, and this is one of her very best events, the vault.
And that was a beautiful vault, an outstanding effort from Brandi Johnson. She had a 1/10 deduction for the step on the landing, otherwise fantastic.
This is the type of event that really plays into the hands of a competitor like Brandi Johnson, where she is so quick to begin with and so powerful.
In vaulting, we look for height, distance, and clean form in the air. And Brandi Johnson really displays all of those attributes.
So Brandi Johnson, probably a good 1/10 of a point deduction on that bobble at the end, and came up with a 9.762 on her first vault.
For her second vault, Brandi performs a handspring front with a half twist in pike position. That was beautiful. That was a good vault. Again, a step on the landing. That's going to cost her.
She has had problems, Christy, all weekend long in nailing landings.
And it's really unfortunate. You can see here that this is a tremendous vault. Great form in the air. And it's too bad she takes those 2 steps because that costs her 2/10.
Score on the second vault, a 9.775, so the average for Brandi Johnson. And we have a new leader now in the vault, a 9.768. John Ross. Back over to the women's vault now, our all-around champion, Kim Zumeskal, with her first vault, and this may be her strongest area.
At 14 years old, Kim Zumeskal has already scored 2 perfect 10s on this event. Was not a typical Kim Zumeskal vault. She landed low and she had to hop.
But Christy, she is so aggressive. I've never seen anybody attack this vault the way she does.
On this vault, Kim just lacks the speed and the push that she normally has, and as a consequence, she's slow in the rotation and a little low on the landing.
And it's got to be somewhat of a letdown for Zumeskal after the high that she reached yesterday, winning the all-around competition, just like Roethlisberger, who had a 9.6 on the pommel horse. 9.712 for Kim Zumeskal. Not up to her usual standards on the vault.
But not a low score by any means. For a second vault, Kim will be performing a handspring front with a half twist in pike position. This is the same vault performed by Brandi Johnson. Oh, and that's a shame. That is very uncharacteristic of Kim. We have not seen Kim Zumeskal break during the whole competition.
It is so rare to see Kim Zumeskal touch the floor, especially on the vault.
Kim had a strong, aggressive run into the vault and a nice push. Actually, she had a better vault going here. And then she just pulled her legs in a little too far. This vault had too much rotation.
So there's no way that Kim Zumeskal is going to overtake Brandi Johnson after they average her two vaults at 9.237 on the second with an average of 9.474. So a little consolation in the early going this afternoon for last year's national champion Brandi Johnson, as she has taken the first gold of the women's division this afternoon. Brandi winning the vault competition over Sandy Woolsey and Amy Shear. And in the men's pommel horse, their second row.
What a competition this kid is having.
We move over to the second rotation for the women. And from Independence, Missouri, Christy Henrich, who is coached by Al Fong.
Christy's nickname is E.T., which stands for extra tough. And this kid is really tough. She's tough on this event, and she's a tough competitor. She's battled a lot of injury and illness in her career. Here's her first release, beautiful reverse hack right to a handstand on the low bar. Christy is so clean in her form. She narrowly missed a bronze medal at the World Championships. Nice dismount and a stuck landing. That's a solid performance.
You talk about those injuries and illness for Christy Henrich. Just battled her way all the way back from mononucleosis just in time to make the championships. Not a lot of training coming in, but felt about 100%.
Here's a look at her release move. She does a full pirouette right into a reverse hack. That's 2 D elements in a row.
And then when you talk about injury with Christy Henrich, just last year, a fracture in her neck. She really is extra tough. She finished 10th in the all-around this year. Last year, she was second behind Brandi Johnson, so that changing into the guard continues when you look at what has developed over the last 12 months for Christy Henrich.
She did a great job in this final. There's her dismount, a double back. It's a C element, but a beautiful landing.
So Christy Henrich waiting for the judges' results on her uneven bars, and a great score of 9.812. We move to the women's division, rotation number 2. And Kim Zumeskal, our all-around champion, where she had most of her problems on the uneven bars.
Many people say that this is Kim's weakest event, but it's weak relative to her other events. When you're capable of a 10, as Kim is in the other 3, a 9.7 or so seems low. This is where she had a little problem in the all-around competition. Well done. She works right out of it. That was beautiful. She still has another release and a big dismount. Reverse hacked. Beautiful. And preparing for a dismount. Watch how high she goes on this dismount. A layout, double pike. And another great landing. That's typical Kim Zumeskal.
When I asked Kim about goals down the road, twinkle came in her eye, and she started talking about Barcelona in '92, and she's definitely a shining hope for U.S. gymnastics in that direction.
This is one event where Kim Zumeskal is going to have to put in long and hard hours and make a lot of improvement. This is a skill that sometimes gives her some trouble, her Jaeger front, and that's how it's supposed to be done. She's been very inconsistent in big competitions on that element. On the other hand, she is very strong in the area of the dismount. She has a beautiful layout, double pike, and a tremendous landing. She goes so high in the air, it's hard to do it much better than this.
So a big improvement for Kim Zumeskal after a shaky start in the vault. She comes on strong on the uneven bars, and let's see what the judges say for Zumeskal. It'll be a 9.812, and she is now tied for the lead with Christy Henrich. Erica Stokes, fourth place all-around finisher yesterday, up next on the uneven bars. Before she takes on that apparatus, though, she takes us through a regular work day for her at Bella Caroli's gym.
I wake up about 6 o'clock, get ready for gym, go to gym, work out for about 3.5 hours. And then from there, we get ready for school. We go to school for about 4 hours. And then we come home, maybe rest a little while, go back to gym, then we come home, do the homework, and then sleep.
How long is your training in the evening?
About 4 hours.
So how many hours a week are you spending in gymnastics?
About 35 to 40.
It's a full-time job.
Yeah.
That is a tough load for a young lady that's only 14 years old.
But it's also the secret to their success. On this event, Bella Caroli's gymnasts are characterized by their clean form and their consistent performances. They do well because they rarely miss. We just saw our first release, a Ginger, and here comes our second release, a reverse hecht. Late in the routine, this is no easy task. Beautifully done. Now she's setting up for a dismount. Pirouette, right into a double tuck. Little hop on the landing.
Erica Stokes, Olathe, Kansas, living in Houston, Texas, told me she was inspired by Mary Lou Retton at the '84 games. She was only 7 years old at the time. By the time she was 10, she had already moved to Houston and was training with Bella Caroli. Fourth place all-around finisher, will represent the United States at the upcoming Goodwill Games. Moving over to the men.
The big score in a finals competition.
We just saw Erica Stokes on the uneven bars, and she comes up with a solid 9.812. Another great score for Bella Caroli's gym. Sandy Woolsey now on the uneven bars.
This is Sandy's best event. The judges are looking for tremendous swing, spectacular releases like you just saw there, and big dismounts, and Sandy will deliver all of these things. Here comes her dismount. It's the most difficult dismount being performed in the competition. A full twisting double back, and she nailed it. That was great. That was an awesome routine.
Possibly the best performance we've seen all weekend long from Sandy Woolsey.
This is Sandy's transitional move. The gymnasts are required to move from the low bar to the high bar. She does it with the release move. That was so well done. That's not really difficult, but it's unique. Most of the girls use the same connections, standard skills. It's really nice to see Sandy using something different. Sandy did a fantastic job on her dismount. She had the most difficult dismount performed in the competition. A full twisting double back. There's her full into the somersault and a back somersault out. Beautiful landing.
A superb job by Sandy Woolsey. She needs to top a 9.812 to take the gold. And she's done it. A 9.9 for Sandy Woolsey on the uneven bars as she celebrates with her coach, Stormy Eaton of the Desert Devils. Sandy finished fifth in the all-around competition, a member of our U.S. national team, and she is taken first in the uneven bars with that 9.9. So the women have completed their second rotation with Sandy Woolsey coming out on top at a three-way tie for second between Stokes, Henrich, and Zumeskal. The men have completed their third rotation now on the still rings. 9.2 on his second vault. That gives him an average of 9.4. You have to like the Kerry Houston, though, making a name for himself. Erica Stokes, the first up on the balance beam, the third rotation for the women. She was ranked second among the juniors last year, fourth in the all-around competition this weekend.
And Erica has a spectacular element coming up in her balance beam routine. It's a full twisting back handspring straddle down. And that's the skill that really sets Erica Stokes apart from the rest of the field. Really a nice mount there. press to handstand, and twice around on her hands. Here's her tumbling combination. Back handspring, layout, right on. The gymnasts on this apparatus are required to do an acrobatic skill right into a dance element, like Erica just did, back handspring into a Saison. Now she's getting geared up for that really big skill, her full twisting back handspring straddle down. The only girl in the competition today performing this element.
We are watching a young lady that is absolutely fearless.
That is definitely true, because the margin for error on this event is so small. And you know, if you miss that skill, it can't feel good.
Balance beam 4 inches wide, 4 feet off the ground.
Okay, she's preparing for a dismount. Round off, double twist, nice and simple, nice and clean. That was a great job for Erica.
A young lady you could hear a lot about in the near future, leading up to Barcelona in '92. Erica Stokes. And Christy, it looks like the type of move she made, which is coming up right now, if you miss, it looks like you really could land on your chin.
That's right, Joel, and you can bet she probably took some bumps and bruises as she was learning and perfecting this element. It was beautifully done.
Erica Stokes started on the balance beam in the all-around and comes up big in her third rotation with a 9.725.
That was a great score, especially considering she did a fairly simple dismount.
In the lead. Let's go back to the women's division now. Their third rotation, Kim Zumeskal gets ready to mount the balance beam.
Unlike Erica Stokes, Kim doesn't have one trademark spectacular skill in this routine. She's great because her difficulty is distributed throughout her routine. She's so solid on this event. There's one of her requirements, the acrobatic skill into the dance element. And she's preparing for her first tumbling combination, back handspring, 2 layouts. Rock solid.
Kim is still looking, though, for her first gold medal in the individual finals in the third rotation.
And after the great job by Erica Stokes, it's going to be difficult. Kim will have to do a great routine here in order to take the gold. Here's her second tumbling combination, back handspring, layout. And actually, that's not a requirement. She puts 2 in there just to say, hey, look at me. I go for it.
And isn't that the overall objective? Take some chances. Be as creative as possible in the event finals. And we're seeing it right now from Kim Zumeskal.
Here comes her dismount. Round off, double back, little hop on the landing, but that was a very solid, aggressive performance.
So Zumeskal will try to top her teammate from Bella Caroli's gym, Erica Stokes.
She performed a back handspring to 2 layout somersaults. Those are back flips in a stretch position, as you see there, with no hands. Well done. And her dismount is a round off, double back. We've talked a lot about difficulty. This is a D-level dismount. Nice height in the air, good rotation, and a little hop on the landing. She really doesn't need to cowboy or straddle her legs during her somersault. She has plenty of time.
A 9.8 gives Kim Zumeskal the lead on the balance beam, but still consulting with Bella Caroli, her coach, because Bella knows she is capable of even more. We'll be right back to Denver. The next on the balance beam, she is the youngest in the seniors division, just turning 13 this past March. She's also the smallest at 4 feet 4 inches, weighing only 60 pounds.
And Shannon may be small, but she does some really big tricks, and especially on this event. Her difficulty level equals or exceeds that of any gymnast in the competition.
Shannon's a straight A student. And her size, definitely an asset in gymnastics. but it can be tough on her at the dinner table. For her parents, she's a telephone book to help her out.
And she doesn't look like she eats too much when she's there. Some aerial walkover. Now Shannon's preparing for a tumbling combination. Back handspring to 2 layouts. The same thing we saw from Kim Zumeskal. Right on.
It would be quite an accomplishment. Such a young lady to pick up a medal in the finals on the balance beam.
She did not have one break in that routine. That was the best I've ever seen her do. Now here's her big dismount, a full twisting double back. There it is. Oh, and that is a real shame for Shannon.
It ruins what was otherwise almost a flawless performance.
She did a great job on the beam, but you have to admire her and her coach, Steve Nuno, for even attempting that dismount. She's the only American ever to compete this skill. We've seen many gymnasts do a double back off beam. Shannon does a full twist into the double back, and she just overturns it.
Well, you can see how upset she is. At times we forget how young some of these competitors are. A 9.2 for Shannon Miller on the balance beam. 9.625. Phil Roth from Temple University. Back to the balance beam in the women's division. Betty Aquino, without a doubt, one of the biggest surprises over the weekend.
You know, Betty finished second in the all-around. That was such a surprise. She was a relative unknown coming into this competition. Now, she was strong on all 4 events, but this event really showcases her long, lean body line. There's her tumbling combination. 2 layouts, beautifully done.
So far, so good for Betty Aquino, and she needs it to be almost perfect. She needs to top a 9.8 by Zumeskal to take first place on the balance beam.
Look at that. Most of the gymnasts have their difficulty in the tumbling elements. That was a double turn on the beam, a dance element worth a D level.
And Betty Aquino has plenty of dance experience. She competed nationally in tap dance competitions with her brother Edward. Betty was born in Africa, moved to Romania, and came to the United States at the age of 2.
Here's her dismount, 2 back handsprings to a double back. That is an extremely difficult combination.
Pretty tough to top a performance like that. There's her coach, Marta Caroli, who actually coaches the young ladies on the balance beam.
And Marta should be very proud of her gymnast performance on this event.
So Betty Aquino with a spectacular performance.
Here's a show of flexibility. Look at that. 180-degree split and her back bent at a right angle. Right into a strength move.
She needs better than a 9.8 to take the gold and top her teammate.
Here's her dismount. 2 back handsprings into a double back. This combination is worth 2/10 bonus points. It's actually valued the same as Shannon Miller's dismount.
She nailed the dismount as she waits for the results. Needs to beat the 9.8. Did she? Agonizing. 9.825, and Betty Aquino has taken the gold in the balance beam. And what a celebration it is for the entire Caroli crew. As they swept the balance beam, Betty Aquino taking the gold away from her teammate. Right at her side, Kim Zumeskal. And it gives us an opportunity to take a look at the final standings on the balance beam. A clean sweep for Caroli's gym in Houston, Texas. Aquino, Zumeskal, and Stokes. And the final of the men's. Welcome back once again to the U.S. Gymnastics Championships in Denver. There's our all-around national champion, Kim Zumeskal, getting ready for her final event, the floor exercise. She is coached by Bella Caroli, one of the most expressive in the sport. Sometimes, though, you hear grunts and groans out of Bella. We asked Kim if that ever created a problem.
Yeah, when we first started, like, especially when, you know, kids move down and they're like, he sits there and he's talking to me, and you just sit there and you smile, and you're like, I have no idea what you're saying to me. But you're like, okay, I'll smile anyways.
Now the new national champion tries to win her first individual title. And let's watch as her personality really shines through on the floor. Great performance by Kim Zumeskal. Her mom and dad looked on, who made the trek and drove all the way from Houston, Texas.
Kim is strong and powerful, but what you really appreciate is her personality and just sitting back and watching. For her middle pass, she performed a round-off and 3 whips in a row. 1, 2, 3, a back handspring, right into a double back. Such incredible strength and power, and she's so small she can fit it all in one diagonal.
Kim Zumeskal waiting for her score, and it's a 9.875. Phenomenal effort by Zumeskal on the floor. And with that 9.875, she has taken the lead thus far. We move back. And a 9.6 for Ringgold on the parallel bars. Alternating competition back over to the women's side. And Kim Kelly, who works out of Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Kim was a member of our '89 World Championship team, and she's got to be one of the most improved gymnasts in the country. Her strength here is her tumbling. She mounts with a full twisting double back. Nice job.
Kim finished in the top 10 in the all-around competition, actually finishing 6th. So you'll see a lot of Kim Kelly over the next 12 months in international competition. She'll be on the national team representing the United States. She's a 12th grader at Allentown Central Catholic High School.
Kim is such a powerful tumbler. This next pass is a combination pass. She's the only girl in the competition to use this combination. It's a 1.5 twist through to a double full and punch front. Outstanding.
A very smooth floor exercise so far for Kim Kelly.
And her difficulty was well placed throughout the exercise. She has 1 element left. Double back, and another good job.
A very consistent effort by Kim Kelly.
You know, we talk so much about sticking landings. It's important to point out that in women's floor exercise, it's perfectly permissible to step back into a lunge after the tumbling pass. Here's an example. She does her round off, back handspring, double back, and you see that she lands and then steps back into a finishing position.
And a great score for Kim Kelly, a 9.787, but still not enough to overtake the leader, Kim Zumeskal. She's in second place as Brandi Johnson prepares for her final event in the individual competition. We'll be right back for her floor exercise. From UCLA, here's another Sky. We move back to the women's final rotation. Can Brandi do it? She already took the gold medal in the vault. Can she surpass Kim Zumeskal's 9.875? Can she take the gold once again in this individual showdown with Zumeskal?
This is one of Brandi's strongest events. She does the most difficult tumbling in the competition, and she intends to pull out all stops. A whip through to a full in back out. That was tremendous. The best pass we've seen all day.
She had her problems yesterday on a couple of tumbling passes. Looks extremely confident right now.
You know, she looks great. She only qualified for 2 event finals, and she intends to take home 2 event golds. A second full in back out. The only girl in the competition to perform 2 twisting doubles. This is a great chance for Brandi to go out, finish the competition on a high note, and she is a tremendous athlete. She wants to make a strong showing here and just show everyone, hey, I've still got it. She's preparing for her last tumbling run, a double back. And that was beautiful. So high, she's great. She was on today.
I think she just made a statement as her mom, to the right of your screen, Kathy Johnson, looks on. An exceptional floor exercise by Brandi Johnson. She already took the gold in the vault. Now, can she take another gold away, possibly from Kim Zumeskal?
She really looked like a champion today. In the all-around competition, she went out of bounds on this tumbling pass. It's her whip through to a full twisting double back. But today, you can see she is totally in command. There's her full in. She lands and just nails it. Here's her second full in back out. She was the only athlete to perform 2 twisting double somersaults. Strong run. Most of the gymnasts are using this for her first pass. Brandi uses it for her second. Now, that was a little stumble on the landing. That's so difficult. I don't think the judges will deduct much.
She needs to top a 9.875 to take the gold away from Zumeskal. Does she do it? Yes, a 9.9 and another gold for Brandi Johnson, this time on the floor.
That must be really gratifying for Brandi. She had a disappointing all-around competition, finishing 3rd. She came in today, she looked great, and she finished 1st in 2 events.
And the tough luck loser, who has to settle for the silver, Kim Zumeskal. And very interesting that Zumeskal was one of the few that qualified for all 4 individual titles today, but did not come up with a gold. Brandi Johnson winning the floor exercise with that 9.9. And let's take a final look now in the 4th and final rotation for the women, as Brandi Johnson just edged Kim Zumeskal, with Kim Kelly picking up the bronze. And on the men's parallel, Ringdahl. For the most part this afternoon, though, the day belonged to last year's national champion, Brandi Johnson. Brandi picking up a couple of gold medals. The vault, also the floor exercise, had to be a feeling of redemption. Let's find out now with Christy Kraft.
Brandi, 2 gold medals, 2 event finals. You've got to be happy. If this was a statement, what are you saying?
Well, I feel really great, and I'm definitely back, and today was more relaxed, and I just felt really confident, and since I didn't do as well yesterday, I wanted to really prove myself today.
What do you think happened last night? You looked wonderful today. What went wrong last night?
I think I just got a little bit unfocused and started to wander a little bit, but now I'm back focused, and I've been competing, so I feel good.
Well, you certainly look like you're back, so congratulations.
Thank you.
It was a great weekend in Denver for the U.S. Gymnastics Championships. For Christy Kraft and Tim Daggett, I'm Joel Myers. Thank you for joining us.